Hey boo. So here's a disclaimer before you listen to this episode. As much as I try to plan and organize every single episode, apparently there's always room for error. So leave it to one of my best friends to obviously throw the whole episode off. I promise you there was an outline. But this episode turned out to be extremely candid. Ladies, you know how it is when you visit one of your homegirls and you open up the wine and that's that, and you're on the couch, that's what happens. And men, if you ever wonder what the hell takes us so damn long when we meet up with our girls, you're gonna get a peek. But before the episode actually starts, I just want to remind you that March is just about over, and that means that Women's History Month is coming to a close. But this is just my reminder to you to continue to love, honor, and respect all women every month, every day, and every moment that you get. I also want to thank my amazing guests that I had this month, along with everyone, regardless if they're a man, woman, or whatever you identify yourself as, who have listened since the relaunch of my podcast. Thank you so much for listening, sharing, commenting, calling, texting, giving me a constructive criticism. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the encouragement, all the love, all the feedback. Listen to this episode. It's pretty hilarious. And I want to just thank you for always vibing with Steph.
You know, you're not going to show me though, right?
Girl, this is audio.
All right, good.
So you know what's funny is I have like a thing where whatchamacallit.
You're my only friend with a neck that can wear earrings like that.
I got bigger ones, but they
I
were
don't
like
have a neck. Look.
You used to not have a neck, Davida.
No, but I still kind of don't. Like it's like short.
But
Like,
you know
if I wear those earrings, they literally land on my shoulders.
No, when I be driving, I be like,
look. No, bitch, it's not on your shoulders. Give me.
These are the small ones.
No, I kid you not. I have no neck. Watch.
At least you have a chin.
I have a good chin. I have
you have a good face.
The Incredibles, the Daphne Incredibles chin.
Like Vince McMahon from wrestling.
That's me. But like, you're pretty. I know.
But it's a cute butt chin. I never seen a cute butt chin. You don't have a butt, but you have a butt chin.
Look, it almost hits my...
Girl, I have bigger ones. What's funny is I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's like, yo, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I think it's like this podcast thing. It's already recording. I feel like this podcast thing, I'm like, yo, this could be like full time. It's fun for me, right? Like,
you could talk. That's
but listen, thing, now I'm getting paid to talk.
It's about time.
But it's really refreshing because I tell people like, I become very confident, right? Oh shit, that's the laundry. But yeah, you know, so it's really refreshing to be like, people want to listen. Like when I first started the podcast 3 years ago, I just was like, I don't know what to talk about, right? I don't know what to talk about. Does somebody want to be on my show? You want to talk? I didn't really know. I was like, I want to do this.
No ideas yet. Now you have every time we talk, that all you can do is be like, oh my God, I have an idea. I need to like this. I need to talk about
But you
this.
know what happens with that, Davida? It's like when... I mean, we have everyday stress or just regular stress, but when that big stress in your life, that heavy part is like, it's hard to think. I'm like, I tell people,
no,
like,
but now you're like in such a different
because it's just regular stress. Okay, like my kids stress me out.
Yeah, that's life stress.
Yeah, but when it's things like, it's hard to even function. Focus. You can't even enjoy what you do. You know what I mean? So it's just like those creative juices. Like I'm like doing my day job. I like analytical shit.
That's how I felt when I first came back home. So I was gone for 2 years. I hadn't done hair for 2 years. And one of those years, I suffered from postpartum.
Which I talked about, and that was during COVID.
That was during COVID.
I talked about that with Paula and You see how everybody's connected too? Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm. You know, and I feel like I was losing my identity. Like I missed that client in the chair and us bullshitting and me knowing that they were going to leave feeling amazing. Like I miss that.
But you love that.
I love it.
You love it. Because I know people that don't love it.
If it wasn't for my boss, I wouldn't have found that again.
That's like, our lives are parallel, right?
We both love our bosses.
We love our bosses.
That shit is weird. So many people don't love their bosses.
I love my job.
Don't you feel like you can't even talk about it? Because you don't want nobody to jinx it?
Girl. I'll be like, my boss, she bad. Like, it's just like...
I start talking about it, and I'm like, wait, I need to shut the fuck up, because not everybody feels like it's about their boss.
But you know what? It's almost like you've been a boss. You've been a boss, right? Like, I feel like my boss is like...
I was a young boss, though.
You were.
And I needed...
I was boss, bitch.
I was a young boss, and I hated it. I'm so happy I'm not the boss.
You know what? And that's funny, too.
I love just doing art.
That's the thing. Work. Everybody's like, hustle culture. Let's all be bosses. Everybody ain't don't want to be no boss.
I don't want to.
I know, even like my mom said, like, Carmen, you want to be a supervisor? She's like, nope, I don't want to go home. I'm tired of y'all.
No, sometimes it's okay just to love where you're at in life.
Isn't it funny?
And I don't know if it's a 40s thing. Maybe
it's the
time. You could put that as a question. Like, it's maybe now, right?
It's really, one is after COVID.
COVID was a big deal.
Two, it's also this.
The way I work is completely different now.
This whole like women's movement thing. Like, I think we talked about it. Well, I was going to put an episode. I'm still working on those things, which episode to put out first. But I was talking to somebody and I'm like, why do you feel like it's such a shift? She's like, women, like, this is a real movement. Like, we're really like, no, and that's it. And this is it. Yeah. And it's like, we're really embracing who we are. We're like, I don't want to do that. No, you know what? Hustle. No, I'm going to fucking rest. Like, yep, girl.
That's not my generation. That's not our generation.
Yeah, but I think,
but we're definitely taking it and running with it.
Yeah. Now, because we had that, and then it was like, stop. Because when we met, what were we doing? That was funny. We're not a boss, then you were a boss. And then we still connected somehow. And then we were like besties.
Oh, you were cool, though. Like, every time we hung out, who could talk over who?
Yeah.
Who could talk over
with our daughters who were like the same age. Thinking we was with a badass bitch boss, but she was freaking nuts.
Yeah.
And it was so fun because we weren't even, I don't even really remember the time we actually like clicked.
It was after I closed the shop. I think I called you.
I don't even remember what it was.
I think it was, I called you for something. I think it was to see if you got me my taxes or something.
What it was
It was
no,
after.
because she was doing the crazy taxes stuff.
Yeah.
And then we were like, wait. And then we were like, what are you doing? I was doing insurance after that. And that's when I was like, all right.
But we had kids. I was like, yo,
and we didn't really,
we're like, and let's go hang out.
They were little.
They were so tiny.
Oh, my daughter's huge, and your daughter got a body. But guess what, Davida? And you know what? I tell people all the time, like, I'm so glad that, like, I don't want to say all my kids, but specifically like my daughter, I'm glad that she's seeing me now. Like, because my daughter, I'm like,
she is your twin.
But she's so fierce. I'm like,
so mine.
But it's because now, who we are now.
But it's who we've always been. Hard workers. We've always hustled. As single moms, we always hustled, and we never ever stopped. Like, there was never a time that I said, oh, I'm depressed, so I'm gonna let everything
because if you're
apart.
depressed, you still gotta do it.
I still gotta do it.
We've even lived together.
Yeah.
We've lived together with my kids.
We lived in a one bedroom with a bed. And we never fought. We never ever fought.
I've lived with you and another one of my besties, and very different people. But I can say that during the time, because it was during the the split, I never fought with any of y'all.
No,
I'm not a fighter.
No, and you're like very when living with you, you're very considerate. So it's very hard to ever want to fight with you because you're that friend that'll be like, hey, how you doing today? Do you need this? Do you need that?
I don't understand inconsiderate people.
Yeah, you were never inconsiderate, so it made it very easy. Listen, if you wouldn't have told me, I finally could afford to like do this with the kids, just me. Like, I got this now. I found a place to live and I found a boss I really love. If you wouldn't have said that to me and you would have just still, like, honestly, you guys would have stayed as long as you wanted.
I remember it was, I think you and my other bestie was like,
when you left, I was sad.
They were like, but you cook, can you be like, you want to be a housewife? I'm like, no. I want to be a housewife. I want to work too, but it was so helpful because, like, again, I've been running my mouth on the internet. Like, if I hate men, I don't hate men. But I'd be like, I got questions. I'll be like, who made them like the better species? Because that's who made them in charge? Because y'all motherfuckers wild. We got Will Smith smacking motherfuckers up on the stage. Yeah. We got Putin ready to blow up the world. We got like all these men who rule the world. Where is
we need to take
but I'm
the
like,
wheel. God knows us as women have to take
but
the
you
wheel.
know what? I'm like, who are the women behind these who are the women behind these men, right? Because you know good and damn well when I see people like, and I know we're gonna talk about this in the podcast, but like with Jada Pinkett, right? Because this is the topic of discussion in the world right now. With like Jada Pinkett, it's like she's so strong and badass. She's also a Virgo. I don't listen. Virgo men, I can't rock with Virgo men. No offense to Virgo men, but Virgo women are like fucking like bang. I'm like, they're a different type of breed. I feel like, oh, I'm gonna play that. They bitches and they will rip your ass a new one. And they don't play that shit. It's just like nope. But then they're very private with their shit. Like you'll never really know the struggle. In my opinion, I could be wrong, but that's what I know. So a lot of people feel like she emasculated, right? Will Smith, right? She emasculates him because all the shit she put him through. So it was almost like I gotta prove my point.
Both in an open relationship.
But you know what? Let me tell you something.
Like they were both. Like I heard he had it. Well, allegedly.
I read
girlfriend.
I read his whole book.
Whole time. Yeah.
I read his whole book.
Andre.
I read his entire book, and I really respect him so much, right? Because it shares your story and it makes you kind of understand where they're coming from. Even like he did this big birthday bash for her, right? And she Mary J. Blige came in with this huge freaking 50th party. It was a fucking like,
big deal.
And she hated it. And she said, this is the most selfish act of yourself that I've ever seen. Because she's like, I just want to be home, relax with my family and chill. And he did this whole spectacle. You know? So in the book, he really revealed a lot of who he was. She's more humble than him. Yeah. But
don't you feel like, I don't know, as women, when you really find the one, is it me or like, I feel like I
you could just
down.
Be.
I could just be.
You know what?
You know what's nuts? This is what women should know.
We don't gotta be all of that.
Yeah, we don't have to find the one for some reason. You feel happy. You know, there's not that sense. You need everything else around you to be so like.
Yeah, because you know why? And I've had this conversation when my boo Jen, hey Jen, I'm probably listening to the podcast. We're talking about like. I'm very open-minded about everything, right? This is just how we are, how I've become, how I've learned to be. But to an extent, I feel there is an order to things, right? So yeah, when people are like, oh, the man is the head, yeah. Listen, I'm all fucking for it. Why? Because I'm like, I don't gotta be that. Yo, you could do it. You got this, you got this. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, a circle goes into a circle, a triangle goes to a triangle, whatever. And in the sense of when things are so out of order, I'm like, yes, we have masculine energy, we have feminine energy, but so many of us have so much masculine energy because the men don't have that, you know? So it's like we've stepped into these roles of the the man, I'm the man I always wanted to be. I'm the man I always wanted, me, myself. But I'm like, if I don't have to be, like, I don't have to defend myself all the time. You know why? Because I have friends, supporters who are strong men that'll in a minute be like, what happened, Steph? And I'm like, you know, like
you created a support system for you.
Oh, I love my support.
I love mine. You're a part of mine.
And you know what? It's like over here, over there. And it's what is amazing is I know like a couple of weeks ago. I love my support system. Like
all my girls, they come through. Listen, I have girls that I went to high school with that they know that I had a dream to come back to Hoboken. I had a dream to work again. You know, I wanted to do it, yes, part-time, because I still love being in the burbs, or the farm. But I absolutely forgot how much I loved my art, how much I loved being in the salon. And my boss, like, you know, at that time, she wasn't my boss. She was just like, listen, if you come back to Hoboken, like, I'm carrying.
Everybody wants you, girl.
Well, you know, it's not even that. It's just the way she spoke. And then, like, she really helped me get out of my cage.
We find because there's so many strong women around us or who we are.
I feel like I'm finding them now.
Yes, but like, not even like
my girl circle is just amazing.
I had a girl tribe. I have a girl tribe. I'd be like, can we get jackets
before? Is the first time you have one?
have a girl tribe now.
I never had. I only had boy tribes.
Yeah.
This is my first time.
This is why we connected. I'm like, you have brothers, I got brothers. They're assholes, right?
Yeah. And you made us a little assholes.
Yeah, and I'm like, I got a girl tribe, and I love, like, we've been going.
I love my girl
I'm like,
tribe.
I'm gonna just make this chat because, like, we're going out. But we're, like, so cute, and I'm like, this is.
It's since the end of Women's History Month, right?
It is. And
you're ending it with your best friend, girl.
We like, yes, outside.
Just girls loving girls for the right reason.
Yeah, nobody's even like intimidated. Like,
no.
Like, listen, if I don't like,
you've been there for me, and I've been there for you. And
there's been times we haven't spoken.
For times because we've been in different places.
But you know what? It's because we didn't, and to track back to even my last podcast.
We both were suffering in different ways.
We were, but it was also like, and I've learned. I remember when we stopped talking, I remember exactly where I was, and you were just kind of like, yeah, I mean, and it wasn't even anything like.
But it broke my heart.
But no, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even like, it was kind of like, Steph, I can't do this no more. And I was just kind of like, okay. Because you know what? It wasn't even like, one, I don't like to argue. I'm not that person. But at the same time, I'm like,
I got so frustrated.
And then even after things, yeah. I mean, you were going through your own things.
I was going through so much.
But also at the same, and it was like,
I was realizing that my relationship was failing as
I was at the end of it was at the end, at the very tippy end. Mm-hmm. And all I remember, and it was something that even after like years, I kept hearing back and forth, and it's like we're so strong, but at the same time, it's like I know you to be just a strong ass bad bitch, and so do you. But internally, I wasn't, and you were just like, Steph. Yo, I just wish and it was weird because I was finding myself now in my 30s.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I didn't tell you like, oh, at the end of this, and you're like, I just want my church girl back, and I'm like, but I'm not that person, not because of what the things you said, but it's kind of, you're like, you have the leopard. I'm like, girl, leopard is me.
No, but you know what I feel like? I think you have a nice balance right now.
And it was that
you had to find your balance.
It was,
and now that you found your balance, I feel like
you
found our friendship back.
But you know what? Too, I think once we finally started sharing our stories,
and I had to find my happy place again.
We shared our stories, Davida.
Yeah,
and that's what it was. I think at the time,
we sure did. We just one day started talking,
and I was like,
didn't shut the fuck up. And for days,
and what did I tell you?
We started talking about all our traumas, everything that we were facing.
But what did I tell you? I said, do you know what you're going through? I went through.
You had
and you had no idea. You were like, what?
Yeah.
I said, when you were finished, when we stopped talking, this is what happened to you. And you were apologizing. You were like, what? And I'm like,
because I felt it. You know, sometimes in life, you know, it's true. That whole thing. Don't spit up. You don't know. And I had to experience that same type of pain you were feeling during the time that I was like, I can't.
And you had no idea.
Right now. I had no idea. You're very different than me. You'll still carry a smile and you'll still be very chillful and energetic. Me, on the other hand, I need my bed. I need darkness.
But doesn't it suck? Is like we were so close to the point where we lived together, and even though like people speculate, it's like you don't know, because at the time for me it was like, this is so embarrassing.
Oh my God! And I wouldn't have been judgmental. I love you that much.
But that's the thing. At the time, like at that place that it was, and
so
it was just kind of like, yo, I'm just trying to figure this out. Yeah, in my 30s, and my mother will tell you, and you're getting tattoos. I'm like, this is just what I always wanted to be.
And you were able to do that.
And also the thing is, it's like I had just left, like stopped going to church, and it wasn't out of rebellion, right? I wasn't like a teenager, but it was so hard.
Don't you feel that in your 20s? Okay, this is just me. What my experience. So nobody come at me. My experience is I hated my 20s. I absolutely felt this need, this urgency that I had to prove myself somehow.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's also a woman thing, and also the way we were raised. Because like my mother's a badass woman. Your mother's a pretty strong woman herself. Yeah. Strong. Regardless of anything, very strong. Again, I mean, that's another conversation for another day. But strong.
But in her 40s. When I was a kid, my mother was a dresser. My mom was a jeweler. My mom worked for David Yurman, and she's
always been a hard worker.
Hard worker.
So I think
and she has style. And
surrounding ourselves with these hardworking women, we feel like we also have to do it. And that's wonderful. But then again, we have to find that balance.
They didn't have it then. It was all work. But you're like,
and don't say nothing to nobody.
Lo que
pasa en la casa.
se queda en la casa. Yeah, girl.
That's what it is. And it's almost like you were saying, with
you feel like you're in a cage. You feel like you're trapped.
Suffocating.
So you always have to have this smile. You always have to be perfect. And then one day, I swear to God, you're gonna hit 40 and you're gonna be like, fuck this.
Girl. Okay. 27 was a rough age. I be telling people, I'm like, yo, 27, that shit was
me
fucked.
too. 27 was horrible.
I mean, and I'm like, yo, 27, that's what they have, like the 27 club, you know, and like every like
Amy Winehouse.
Yeah, there's like and I'm like, no, 27 is a fucked up age.
How sad.
That's when I split. 27. I'm about to be 35. I love it. I'm over here like, listen, girls, I'm Beijing like 5'1". I'm bald headed and everything. But
gorgeous.
But it's also, like I said, finding your tribe, and
yes,
it's because it's almost like we're also
you know who to pick by then. Listen, everybody's tribe is different, and you have to pick who fits good in your world. And you figure out, you don't take it personal no more when you're not a part of someone's tribe, because you're just like, okay, we outgrew each other, or we just figured that enough was enough, and goodbye.
But you know what I learned, and I say this,
those are healthy breakups, by the way. They should be.
I've learned now, because of remembering where I was, let's say 5 years ago. I'm learning now. I'm like, yes, people come back when they need to be back, right? When we split, for example, I remember I went through so many.
We were going through growing pains.
I split with you. I split with my other best. I was like, people who know me, like for real know me, they were all just like, fuck this
Steph,
shit.
You had to go through your growing pains.
But guess what? They came back.
Because we had to go through our growing pains and just find each other.
Because there's also people that are like, oh, they just never come. It's just for a season, right?
Yeah,
and then I'm like, I feel so, girl, you know what it's like? And I spoke about it on my podcast when I went on my girls' night and all that fun stuff. And you babysat that night. No, you didn't babysit, did you? No, it wasn't you.
I did babysit.
No, not my girls' night. Was it? No, my bad. She told me to do my hair pink though. So like,
I love it.
You did. And
I love it when it's pink and a little beigey.
But you know what? You remember when I had hair though?
I know.
Right.
You don't need it though.
But you know what? That says a lot, because I'm like, even when I had my girls' night, right? And I tell people, I did the podcast, and it was really like a lot for me to do. When I saw everybody there that night, it was like I had my boss there. I had one of the girls that was our agent that came from me. I had like my girls I met at the club. Like, it was all these people from different parts of my life, and I'm literally there. And then somebody was like, Steph, you know, like, you're the common denominator here. And I'm like, bitches, I did that. And it felt so good, because I'm like, my boss knows me just Steph, me, myself, but she knows me as Steph gets shit done. And that's it. But I also, because I'm not perfect by any means, and I always want to learn this, so I'm like, I surround myself with strong women, because I'm like, is there something I can do to be better? Because back in the past, and I admitted it later on, regardless of what the reason was, I wasn't as good a friend as I wanted to be, or even thought I was.
Same.
Because even sometimes I'm like, friends be like, yo, you're being shitty. But I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, I really want to, but I can't say that. So I'm just going to be shitty. So now I'm like, I show up for people, and when I can't, girl.
You can't, you say it now.
Yeah. But
now you open your mouth, which by the way, so proud of you. Like, you'll just be like, Davida, I have a headache right now. I know it's 6:00, but I'm in bed. Like, girl, we will talk tomorrow. And I'm like, night.
Yeah, because you know what? I think with me, I was always like, because I was always a people pleaser.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I'm proud of you, because now you have your boundaries. They're called boundaries. And we all have to fight. The thing is, when you're a nice person, you have to, it's such a fine line. Because people don't know that fine line with you a lot of times. They think that they could push their limits.
Oh, yeah, because, you're smart, you're good, everything's happy.
Happy. It's like, no, sometimes I need my energy. I need my time. I need to recharge. And you need to let me be when I have to recharge. And that's, as a nice person, one of the things that you have to learn, and you learn as you get older.
Yeah,
for us.
You know what, too? Older. Like, for me, let me tell you, I swear to you, I'm surrounded by Tauruses all over my life. I'm like, these Tauruses. But those are our sister signs, you know. God didn't make us sisters, because we would have drove on with the crazy.
We would have left.
They would have left us. Send them for adoption, one of them only. But like, it's almost like, you know, when it'd be like, oh, you got the right one. Or like when you met your match, it's like, I'm so like, and then you're like, and it's like, it's a lot. But I say that to say like, yes, I'm a people pleaser. Yes, and I'm always like, I'm loud as shit. I'm Puerto Rican. I can't help it. It's just me. I'm loud.
And you're black Puerto Rican.
I'm black Puerto Rican. I'm all the stuff. I'm like super loud. But then it's like, I can't do the yelling at me like the and I'm like, I shut down. So I know like with you, not to say you have a temper, but when you don't play that shit.
Yeah, but you know what?
But you changed a lot.
Yeah, I know not.
You changed because I'm like, I never want to be like, I'm a disappointment. There's even times to be about to burn the couch.
No, I wasn't about to burn my couch, and I definitely sat on my joint.
Oh my god! You know, I think that tells your age when you call it a joint. I learned this. Somebody was like, only people between these ages call it joints.
I know.
I'm like,
you know what? I'm not gonna stop because I am older, and I love when my kids finally catch it. Because I know I don't look 1,000% my age. I was
like, yo, that's the bomb. Somebody was like, what?
I love what's the bomb. That's the bomb.
That's dope. They're like, dope. What?
That's dope.
Until my kid was like, you were born in the 1900s. I was like, what? Hey guys, welcome to Ride with Steph, the podcast. It's so backwards today, but you know, I mean, that's how life is, I guess. I read something, a friend of mine from college, she put on her Instagram and I shared it, which is interesting. This is another topic for another day, but she basically wrote, late bloomers are it's not a late bloomer. Whatever happened to you at that time was supposed to happen for you at that time. It's not that you bloomed late. It's that's when it was supposed to happen.
I feel like a late bloomer, though.
Yeah, it's not. There's no such thing as like when that happened to you. That's when it was supposed to happen. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, that's just everything. So yeah.
Now.
So yeah. So this podcast, we did it all backwards and reverse, but that's what it is. Yeah. So today, we're just backwards in life. Yeah. But guys, welcome to my podcast. It's definitely backwards. I don't even know how I'm gonna edit this, but it's gonna work out. Y'all gonna see. It's the end of Women's History Month. Yo, this was a badass Women's History Month. Yo, it was so dope. I'm just like, men have been fucking up left and right, even though they do that naturally. But it's like, I think I realized more this month, and I'm like, you see why? You see world. You need us. We're like we're like the pillar in the building. Like if you move it, the whole thing collapses.
Well, how about my big fat Greek wedding? What the mom said. The men could be the head of the family, but the women are the neck.
Period.
With the neck.
Y'all hear this? Y'all hear this? Y'all hear this extra voice right now, guys? This is my best friend. One of the most important people in my life.
I love you too.
One of the people that when I got split from my ex, I went from one bestie to the other bestie. Literally, their houses. Shout out to you, boo. I see you. And we split for some time. This is always a cycle in my life, you know, split for your friends and they come back. So yes, at the end of my Women's History Month, I actually have one of the nearest and dearest people in my life, one of my besties, Davida, on here. Yeah, don't cry, stupid. She be like a badass bitch. I cried, but yeah, I think the podcast actually kind of went in a different direction. But y'all know, it's always a surprise. It's always a surprise.
You were like, let's do a pod here.
We're gonna do
and then it hit me.
Yeah.
Hello, it's Women's History Month, and obviously we're two women, and I love you. I love you. And it became about just women empowerment and women loving women and being like friendship empowerment.
Davida's never vibed with Steph, right? So this is how it is, you know. I know I've had a few guests on the show. Shout out to my guests this month, to all the women that have been on the show. I appreciate you so much. It's like so much to talk about. I just want to give a shout out though. I gotta shout it out. I have to. I ain't got no hair, y'all. Is the thing. I got no hair. I love it here. I'm actually with the person who burnt my hair off. We're gonna talk about that later on. But it was like by accident on purpose. It was like destined, like divined.
It really
and it's funny because Davida used to have me on her phone. Is what you had me on here? My name's Steph.
Definitely pretty girls.
Once upon a time, guys, I had
pretty girls.
I had pretty curls, but my personality.
I'm counties, so we give nicknames. It was that pretty girls.
Personality and curls, but I wasn't shiny yet. She met me before the vibes, and She's a stylist. It took me so long for me to even go to you, remember? Like, you don't know how to do black girl hair. Yeah. But then you did it. She was cutting my hair shorter and shorter and shorter, and it was almost like, it was symbolic in a way.
You know what it is? You have such a nice jawbone. Like, your jawline, I kept going shorter. Every time I go shorter, like, her jawline though.
I feel like it's weird. Like, I go to nurses, they're like, you have nice veins. I'm like, oh, and then people are like, you have a nice head when it's hairdressers. I'm like, I'm sorry.
head.
But and even to talk about it. So originally this episode is based on beauty. The beauty standard. It's something so near and dear to women. It's something this is like, men are this, but women are they're the beauty. They're delicate. They're all of this stuff. We have to look a certain way. And I think no matter what time, what era, whenever, like, it's just, we're expected to look a certain way.
Yeah, things have changed a little since COVID.
It definitely has. So before we get back into that topic, I do have to do a sponsored ad, so I'm gonna throw it in there. Davida's gonna talk a little bit about her stuff because I love to hear it. She wasn't always like this, y'all. She really never was. But yes, and we're gonna go to a break first, and then I'm gonna come back. All right, see you in a few. Yo, this podcast, this is how you know we're Latina, when we do all the shit backwards, and then it's like ADHD. We're like, wait, guys, do something else. Right? And everybody, let me tell you, this is how you vibe with Steph. Everyone's always like, I don't know how to talk when I'm a starlight. And then they're just here. We're like, yeah, we love it here. And then I get the reviews on the podcast. Everyone's like, yo, that was awesome. And I'm listen, I'm smart to do a lot of things, but editing is not one of my things.
You made it clear before we started. You're like, I edit a little.
I'd be like, what you get is what you get. That's it. It's like when I take pictures of other people, all the girls are, let me see. I'll be like, whatever it is there, that's what it is. They'd be like, somebody goes, hey, you look pretty, like in real life. I'm like, bitch, I ain't no catfish. I look like this in real life. No filter, honey. Just the face.
I think I look better in person than I do in pictures.
You know what's true? I be trying to filter it, right? And one of my besties.
And then you don't feel like you look yourself.
Not even. No, I put the because I'm light skinned, so it's winter. So don't be looking right. She was like, Steph, I told you. She was like, I told you about your foundation. I'm like, girl, no foundation. I don't know how to use that. She's like, so what happened? I'm like, it's the filter. She goes, this is the original. She's like, girl, you look fine without the filter. I'm like, hashtag no filter. You
don't need it.
Like, but I was just trying to be like cool, like these cool kids. I try to be the bomb, Hello. So guys, today, back to basics. I have Davida, originally the owner of Davida's Hair Salon. What was it called? Davida's what?
Yeah, it was
Davida. That was so original, right? This is what it is, y'all. This is what it is. Davida, before or backtrack or whatever, let us know who you are, where you from. Let us fun facts.
I'm from Hoboken, born in Puerto Rico.
If you say Hoboken, is it Hoboken or Hoboken?
Hoboken.
Somebody told me, you're like, you sound like the natives. I'm like, what the hell do other people say it? Like,
how do they say it? Hoboken?
How y'all say Hoboken? I want to hear it. Send me some voice messages.
That's like when I went down south and I think I went to a restaurant and said, can I have a cup of coffee?
Yeah, but no, apparently there's different ways to say Hoboken.
I think they say coffee.
How you say Hoboken?
Hoboken.
Oh, you say Hoboken. I say Hoboken.
It's Hoboken.
Other people say something else. I don't know. Hose is broken. Okay.
Hose is broken.
Tell us some more, Davida.
So, yeah. I work at Lorraine's House of Style in Hoboken.
Shout them out, girl.
Shout them out. I work with an amazing staff. The girls are amazing. It's like the first group of girls that I have to say each one of them is as talented as the other and very supportive. Like, it's such a supportive team, and very grateful, very blessed to be here.
I love it. How many you're like
home was like the best things I met that group.
You're like this master stylist though. Like, you've been cutting for how long?
So I'm a level 3.
I don't even know what level.
Oh, so it's
how many years have you been cutting?
4. Oh my God. 20-something years at this point.
Y'all don't even know her age, y'all. 20 years.
41.
Some of y'all ain't even old enough. She been cutting hair since some of y'all was born.
How about my clients? Not all their kids. A lot of my clients are in their 20s.
See,
being downtown now, because downtown I think is a younger group of kids.
All of Hoboken is a hot mess to me.
So to me, uptown is more like families, moms.
Is that like 14th
like,
Street?
Money. Yeah, like, between 10 until 15.
All right, see. So guys, map it out.
16,
Hello, yes.
19, whatever they call it. It's just a little different dynamic. It's more the younger crowd downtown.
I'll be looking like I'm 22, but I feel like I'm 42.
My girls and my guys that I've had since I first started doing hair at as a teenager.
Oh my God. Is that like the only? No, you're like very artsy. You're still very art. You're like, you know what? That's what it is. I'm very attracted to just in life, very like creatives, and you have like a different way of thinking. It's really strange. I'm like, I'm your smart friend. I'm like, and I be like the fun friend. I'm a very smart friend.
You know what though? You have your fashion sense, and you have.
I never knew. Yeah, you had to help me with makeup back in the day. Remember?
Not now.
I'll be putting on these Ardell lashes, $4.99 from Walgreens.
We all had to do something going on. Everybody was like, you always say how you're typing your dress.
And you burnt my hair.
Oh, I sure did.
That was the best thing that has ever happened to me in the last.
I can't believe that. So this day, I'm like, chemically, I don't get how it happened.
But what did I tell you?
But you know what's nuts? And it's not nuts. This is a reality. And it's a sad reality, right? I've only learned about curly hair and like what we consider ethnic hair since I work now at Lorraine.
But ethnic is like Jewish girls have super curly hair.
Of course.
But you consider that what hair? Ethnic hair still?
I guess so. Anything curly. Anything from real tight curls to, really, soft curls.
Okay.
It wasn't something that all salons specialize in.
Yeah, I bring my daughter to a Diva Curl, and I was like, "What is that?" And it was so cool because I'm like, "There's a cup for that."
They have salons for curly hair.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. I like it.
But what I love about where I work is that anyone could walk in with any hair texture, and they'll come out just as beautiful as the next.
Yeah, you could tell I went there the first time a couple days ago, and I'm like, "Oh, it really is diverse from the actual
super diverse
from the looks and the
I feel it's such a different dynamic for me because all I've ever seen in my life, in my career, my personal opinion is either you have your white salons or you have what you consider your black salons, your Asian salons,
the Dominicans,
or your Latina salons, and that's what I've kind of seen. But then I started working at my salon, and I love that it challenged me to learning more than just a certain texture. So when I did your hair back in the day, I didn't realize how much moisture I needed to work on you.
But what else?
Especially with lightener.
But what else? Because I remember I told him, like, look, I don't know too much about hair, right?
It was really
but what I said,
high-end.
I was like, my hair's going to catch color in like 5.5 seconds. And you're like, yeah.
I was like, no.
Oh my God.
In my head, like, no. But now it makes sense to me because it's, I wasn't educated like I am now. Like what I've learned, even in the year working there, I've learned so much. And with that knowledge now, I'm like, oh, that's what went wrong. That's where I messed up. And that's growth because you know what? You stay hushed. I could stay hushed as a stylist, right? You make a mistake or you think hush, don't talk about it. But what I love is that when you do talk about it, you learn from it and you grow. That's
something that I don't know if it's a tourist thing. You guys are really like that. That's something David. Hey, David. Hi. Don't be listening, but listen to this one. He told me like what he does in his industry. David works in production, movies and stuff. And as a person, he's always saying, look, if I say I don't know something, I say it because that way they're able to be like, this is how you do it, so I do it right instead of messing it up and then somebody has to fix it and you look bad. Yeah. So it says a lot about you and just in the years that I've known you, because I know when I met you, I'm like, oh, she's like fierce, she knows what she's doing. Maybe not my hair, but she knows what she's doing there, right? Yeah. And it's like just the fact that you're still learning and growing, it's amazing.
My salon has humbled me, I feel, in many ways. Even though I felt I was that master stylist, I already had so much knowledge. When you work with a group of girls that are continuously going for that extra knowledge, down to the boss, even the boss is like, we got to continue to take classes, we got to continue to push, and then you're in that and you're pushing and you're learning from each other, and even your mistakes, even the flaws are talked about, but not in a way to make you feel
constructive
like
criticism.
And you're like, okay, I don't have to take offense to the fact that I'm actually learning from
it. That's what's important about just growth in general, because a lot of people know me. They'll be like, you're so smart, and I'm like, but I learn.
For it. look for a job where people are hungry for life and for doing better. Because without that,
that's how people weed themselves out.
Yeah.
When people leave, quit, they're like, I wasn't worried. But it's almost like your dynamic, and so when somebody leaves, you're like,
they're not in the same pace. They're not in the same vibe
like in my
frequency.
Yeah, even in like my like promoters, I do my little house with. We're so close and so tight knit that we'll tell somebody, you ain't right for that. But it's not coming from a place of like
exactly.
And but there have been people that'll be like undercut stuff, and we're like, if you took offense to because we know our synergy, you not for it. There's some people you got kicked off the island.
Yeah.
And so that's the part. You're like, your synergy as a person, but as a dynamic.
As a dynamic with a great group. And it's the first time for myself.
Years.
Years. Because I had my place. And even that, like, I love my little teams that I would make. But this is like a different team. Like, I really love this team. And I feel like everyone that goes there gets a good experience.
How did you find it? I never knew the story. I probably do.
You know what? She's been in business forever. Where I first owned was her old location.
Oh.
And then she opened up a few doors down.
Is that before Sandy?
Way before Sandy.
Okay.
Way before Sandy. Mm-hmm. And then like people would confuse us for a long time.
That's weird.
Yeah, I dated a cop in Hoboken. She was married to.
We don't even want to talk about. That's another conversation. That's another podcast, y'all.
Nothing bad. I think it's all friendly. But
Hoboken's like this big.
It's this big, but
Is she from here?
She's from Hoboken.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we've known each other for years. But she had her thing going on. I had mine. And when I was pregnant, I wasn't working for a time there, especially because of the pandemic. I found out that I was autoimmune compromised during the pandemic. So imagine that you're pregnant
and you find out you're like,
and you're like watching the news and you're like,
and you had COVID, right?
I did have COVID. I've had COVID twice.
You know what? I think we've known each other since 2012.
Yeah.
So it's like 10 years, and I do remember the transition of, and I've said it before or after, depending on how I edit this. I remember you having the salon. I didn't know you when you had the salon. It was right after Sandy. It was after Sandy that I met you, like a few months after. You had your own salon. Right. That was a disaster. I don't really know how that went.
Yeah.
And then I remember you going from one salon to the other, and I've been to those salons, and I've met the people.
They were, shout out to, well, now they changed, they're the Lions Den, but they were Coos Hair Studios. Shout out to my friend Junior.
They're the Lions Den now?
Yeah.
Wait, is it the same Lions Den in Cliffside Park?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. I think June owns that.
I don't even know, but these places. Hey, barbershop.
Yeah.
Davida could cut Hitman's hair too, y'all.
Well, thank God for Junior's place. But the thing was that right after the storm, right after Sandy, he gave me a place to him in the Sky Club, Stevie on there. Yeah, like they helped me have a chair for a little bit until like things were decided on where I was gonna go. So, I did work in 2 other salons before being here at Lorraine's.
You know what's so interesting now that you're saying that? We're just vibing.
But those barbers, I have so much respect for barbers.
Listen, I ain't gonna talk about barbers, but anyway. But what's interesting, I think, like, I respect the craft. I'm not, like, I'm creative in another way, not with my hands. I can't even draw a goddamn straight line. But I think with you, I remember there was even a time, because we've seen each other through different, like, stages in our life and phases of the hair, no hair, blue hair, purple hair, like all these long hair. I'm like, I was like,
I had a mohawk.
I didn't know you had a mohawk.
You don't have a mohawk.
But I remember
I had shaved head.
You had short hair, but then even just till recently, your hair was mad long. I've never seen your hair that long.
I was letting it grow.
I was like, what the hell?
No, I'm still letting it grow.
No, your hair was
I've never seen your
hair that long.
I know for me, but as a kid, everyone that grew up in Hoboken,
I saw your picture.
knew me for really long hair. And then when I was 19, I chopped it. And until the pandemic, I started growing it again.
Yeah, even till recently, I was like, your hair's
spiritual, and I wanted my hair.
She wants to be on hair, and I'm over here like, I'm bald-headed.
The whole that thing in me.
It was good. I'm like, wait, it's different vibe, different time. We're gonna talk about that, like when people are in different stages, those phases of their hair, So it's like, seeing with the long, I was like, what the hell? But it's
a lot of women have let their hair grow. I think since the pandemic, I feel more than ever during this time, and I really believe it's because a lot of us are finding our spirituality. I think times are.
How do you? Okay, so here's a question, because I'm whole bought, and I've had long hair, short hair, colored hair, cut hair, burnt hair, freaking a weave, everything, natural, all of it. Y'all go on my Facebook. It's been serious on there. Something here that you think is fake is actually real.
Same here.
Yeah,
Some of you think it's real, it's fake on mine.
I've never. Okay, here's a real question. I've never associated long hair with spirituality in a way that I guess you're describing. So I want to know more about it, because like I know in church growing up and like Pentecostal, you don't cut your hair. But then like for me, when I think of hair,
Native Indian,
well, what's
Instagram was talking about.
Okay, go ahead. I want to know.
They let their hair grow in a lot of tribes.
But why?
To be, I guess, your synergy, your energy is connected to your hair as well. And I don't know why.
We're gonna Google that.
I can't remember it specifically.
But it makes sense. It kind of like it flows. Like I get
flows,
it.
Right?
Yeah. Because also, you know, they talk about like the crown chakra and stuff. So for me, like, although the first time was, I think it was a self-discovery, right? With the whole chopping the hair off. And it was weird because it came out to me like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, all that stuff. But after I, you know, the growing pains, what I know now is like Stephanie's in the barbershop every 2 weeks. I got my Dominicano, my Goldo that I call him Goldo on Franklin. But I've learned, and through reading and through self-love and self-development, hair holds so much energy. Right? So I'm mindful of who touches my hair.
Your head in general.
Yeah, who touches my hair. Even with my hats, I'm like, who don't wear my hat? But now when I cut, I'm like, I'm releasing that negative energy. So when you say things like growing it, I love women with long hair. I think it's beautiful. I mean, obviously there's face shapes and all that stuff, but I'm like, it's interesting that you say spiritual, because then I do think of it. I'm like, when I do think of a certain, I guess, time, it's like, it's almost like hippie-ish.
It's very hippie-ish. I feel like we're kind of there right now. Time, right?
Nail, like natural.
Like, but it's so weird because like the 90s and the 70s had
oh my god,
like a real
baby.
Tell me,
I'm gonna like literally put that in my little quote thing when it comes up. If the 90s, if the 70s and the 90s made a baby, it'd be 2022.
Like legit 2022.
That is so funny.
I'm
gonna quote this, and I'm saying that I'm gonna quote this, and I'm gonna put it in the quote.
I'm so for it.
You love it? Did that affect your, like, because of that whole hippie, non-hippie, negatively, money-wise?
Well, first of all, COVID affected hairdressers in general in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Salons were one of those.
You moved to a farm. That's how bad.
I moved to a farm.
She was milking cows.
No, I was not milking cows. And
she was feeding the pigs and making babies.
There were no pigs.
Getting chickens.
The chickens, yes.
She was getting the chicken, like she in Puerto Rico or something.
Definitely not Puerto Rico.
But
we harvest chickens.
I mean, obviously, it was so bad that you didn't have work. You went to a farm.
So, yeah, I didn't have work. Salons were closed down for so many months, and I was pregnant at the time.
My God.
On top of it, I just found out the autoimmune compromise. My brother was, buying a property in upstate.
We had just started talking back. Like, we had just started talking.
Because I had done La Negra. I had done her makeup.
Oh, yes, Amara La Negra, who's pregnant with twins.
She looks great, by the way.
You were telling me.
She looks amazing.
I think, you know what, honestly,
by the way, she's very nice.
I broke the ice, and I think I reached out because I thought about it.
No,
did you break out?
To you.
I'm lying. I take it back.
You better take that back.
I take it back.
I said,
and I was like, I miss you. I love you.
I know you loved her. You used to post her all the time. She was Latina, Afro-Latina.
I was like, I miss you.
Can I tell you something? I was doing her makeup, and I was like holding, and I didn't know I was already pregnant with Gabe, and I'm like trying to like hold my tears back because all I could think of was like, Stephanie would be so proud of me right now.
I would have been there.
Amara La Negra's makeup right now, but then like we're not talking. I was like, you know what?
My best.
I'm gonna suck it
You're
up.
like one of those people like, that's my best friend. You haven't spoken to her in like a year, but that's my best friend.
I feel like a Sex of the City type of moment, right? I feel like such a Sex of the City. I like turned on, I was like, I'm gonna send the picture, be like, I miss you, bitch.
And then I'm all like, I miss you back.
That was it. That was it. And it's been on ever since.
That's how you know. Like, it's like, I've been thinking, but it's like, almost like, what's the icebreaker? And it's almost like, because I've had my other bestie, I'd be like, we haven't spoken much. I'm like, bitch, can we go outside? She's like, yes, let's go outside. And it's like, you never lose track, but it's almost like, again, it was things that we did have to
go through,
but it's also conversations that need to be had. But it's almost like we don't have to have those conversations right now. What's up? What do you mean you're pregnant? Who the hell is this guy? How did my family know you're? It was always a lot of that, but then it's like, then it comes, it's almost like that timing. It's like, okay, when it comes to that right time, it's like, okay, now let's talk.
Yeah.
Because it's always like, I think I'm always bad at that, like timing. Like, okay, I want to say this, but right now is not the right time. It's like, we miss each other. You know what I mean?
Just catch up with that.
Yeah.
Just start with the positive and then
and I was all embraced.
We worked out well. What's crazy? We did. you know, we talked a little bit about what was upsetting us or whatever,
and then
it was just like, screw that, like, oh my god, let's
but then that's how you know, you're like, yo, you know what my life was like, and you're like, what? I never liked him.
I never liked him either.
Screw him. And you're like, I knew it. And it's almost like, you know, that makes me like, I'm like, people that know you really know you. I remember, and it's of the photo, my first night outside when we were like in the little basement apartment. You helped me like do my makeup and my hair, and I was like, this feels weird. I don't even know what this looks like because I hadn't been out in years.
You really hadn't.
And I was like, this looks weird. And now you can't tell me shit because I'll be outside. But
you don't need me no more when it comes out to
I'll be like, what you, hello? And but you know, it don't even be makeup, yeah, because I don't even, and then my
but
other,
you've always known, honestly, I think even when you were church, you always knew how to dress.
No, you know what?
Like,
no,
you know color schemes.
Lies. Don't take it back.
I swear.
Take it back, because my ex used to buy my color. He used to tell me how tacky I was, and he used to buy me my stuff.
Oh, you can't go by him.
No, I don't want to do it no more. Now, girl, I remember my first girls' night out. I wore so many powders and textures. I was like, y'all sure y'all want to go outside? There's a lot going on here. And they were like, bitch, you look great. I had fishnet, all these colors, leather shorts. I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. All I know is I was going outside to see Evie Queen, and I like dipped a pink in my hair, and it was a pink in my hair, and it didn't come out right, but I had a hat on. It was a mess. I looked like something like just a hot mess. But then I learned.
Happy hot mess.
I was a happy hot mess. But you know what? That's like style, hair, all of that. It kind of comes together. And growing up,
but I bet you wore the outfit right now with that hairdo right now. It would be super in because right now every individuality and art and fashion.
But you know what? I was looking at photos from like, I literally had everything. Hello, iPhone, Apple. Y'all want to give me a sponsorship? Apple, say what's up. No, I'm an Apple partner, guys. Hello. Listen to everything. I'm going to put some DJs on here. Follow all their stuff. Buy it. Everything. Go make an appointment with Davida. I got y'all. Anyway, so, whatchamacallit, I was trying to figure out where exactly that turning point was with hair, right? Because it was almost like one of those accidents that had to happen, but not really, because it was when I tell you freak accident, because I know like with Davida, I was like, do you know how to do my hair? And she was literally the person who was like cutting my hair shorter and shorter and shorter, but it was always great. I remember one of the products that's still my favorite.
Well, I love that.
What was that one?
That wasn't a mistake.
It was Olaplex. Is it Olaplex?
It was Olaplex.
There's an oil that I'm like, till this day, I'm like, yo, that oil is bomb. Like, I
think you were talking about oil.
Oil. That's what it is.
Davida product.
Oil. There's this oil that
God,
I just love it. I need to like find it now.
We sell it at Lorraine.
Really? It's like, can I get like a family discount? That should be expensive. But no, I remember oil because I remember when I had that. Remember when I had the long and the short. One day, Davida goes, "Can you just cut it?
I'll get it for you as a gift, girl."
Yeah, she goes, "Can you just cut it?" And I'm like, "No." And then,
well, your hair was a little dry, and you hated styling it.
Yeah,
I would blow dry and curl her all the time, which I was fine with. She lived with me anyway, so it was like
I didn't have time to do it.
And then one day I was like, why don't you? Because you were able to curl certain areas. I'm like, why don't you just go shorter since you're able to grab it?
And I did the front.
And we left the front like a little long.
That was the last style.
That was the whole like Rihanna.
And then there's another picture. I used to have on my private Instagram, which I don't have anymore, which I don't even want it back because it was a lot. When you did the blondes, remember? I had my little braid, my little Senegalese twist, and then I had when you did the little blonde thing.
That was the whole Rihanna hair.
That was the first one. But
like
let me tell you, Davida, when I looked, I'm like, yo, the hair was dope. But I looked at myself and I was like, I wasn't there yet.
You weren't there yet.
And I'm like, yo, because it wasn't there yet. And then after that is when you were doing, I think you were doing my hair pink, right?
I was doing your hair blonde and you wanted to go platinum.
Yeah.
You wanted to go real
and we were trying to like
understand. Cisco way.
Yeah, and I was trying to like now would be there. Yeah. And we were trying to understand it wasn't connecting because like you said, like you didn't get it like it wasn't there at the time. And then I think you did it, and then a couple days later I was like, yo, I put one of the I was like, I put this product or whatever in my hair, and all of a sudden my hair was coming out in clumps. Holy crap. I was like, oh my God. But you were apologizing, but I'm like, it couldn't be you. How you didn't do this. It was
I wasn't sure how it happened chemically. It just wasn't making sense to me, but at the same time, now looking back, your hair was dry, and I think it was just between the process I had done and the process you had done, it was just too much.
But we didn't know that, right? And it was crazy because I wasn't I wasn't upset at, like, I wasn't.
No, you never acted like you were upset.
No, but my ex was furious.
Yeah, I can't stand him anyway.
But we're healed from that now. But the crazy part was, it's like, and this is what it's like when I say women in hair.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I didn't have a lot of it, but it's almost like, yeah, it is your crown of glory, all that stuff, right? And I saw my hair, and this was not the first time. This was about the second time that my hair had fallen out, because it happened years before.
You had told me 2 years before.
But it was a little different then. It was, it was a little different then. But then
I think I was traumatized for you.
But you were so apologetic, and all I hear is
traumatized.
this man saying, "That's not your best friend. She should give you your money." And I'm just like, shut up. Like, I'm trying to like, what do I do,
and
right?
You're an idiot. I never charged you the salon.
Yeah, no, but I wasn't. But like I said, I was never upset. That was always like, I can't stand him. It was the funniest thing. We're healed, guys. We're healed now. We talk about him, we laugh now, and because he's in the same industry, and he's great at what he does. Honestly,
yeah,
he could be not my favorite person, but he's great at what he does. So I remember, most interestingly, I was like, okay, now it's like I have no hair. I gotta figure it out. So my hair, maybe my scalp felt, it was like a lot. My scalp was like weird. It felt tender. And I was like, okay, we're just gonna figure this out. Mm-hmm. And I went to the barber shop for the first time, my ex-husband cut my hair. It was an interesting moment for us. It was almost like a bonding experience at the time. But at the same time, I was like, it's symbolic now looking back, right? He did my hair as best as he could. Being with a person, a man, like, you're married to, and to find you not attractive, it was like heart-wrenching, right? I think he like tried to like it, and it was like, and so it's like, okay, bro, I'm trying to like it. If you ain't trying to help me, this ain't liking it. Mm-hmm. And it was so hard that for a time. That's when I started getting my wraps in my hair, and then I got a couple wigs, and I'm like, this is just so much hair. Like, it didn't look right. And I remember when
you're itty bitty, like,
yeah, I thought I had a big head, just like I got a big forehead, not a big head. And I think the most interesting part was in Wakanda Forever. It came out. Black Panther was the first time.
It was big forehead at all.
You know what's because my hairline, everything kind of works together now. It just flows.
I've had to teach my daughter about how foreheads that protrude a little. My daughter is also half black, right? No one knows it. Looking at
yeah, she like a whole half Jamaican. Her daddy like a white Jamaican.
Yeah, and I've had to show her pictures of like African, like Egyptian, like
like the
pharaohs,
yeah,
whatever,
because it's our features, and that's something you've always had like an eye out, like, because I remember when we met, I had all these curls. You love the curls, but then you were like, just cut it, because you have like you have a gift, and you have a gift for it. That's why I'm like, I remember the backtrack to go back, because ADHD, hello. When you were like, you used to tell me to cut my hair, and I'm like, whatever, but like, you always had a thing.
I loved your curls, but your features.
Yeah, but you like always kind of knew it. That's why, like, when you were, I remember there's been a certain times you were like, I need to have like an additional job, and I'm looking at you, I'm like, first of all, I don't even know what, and no, not to take it badly, but I'm like, what else do you do? Like, I don't need, what? Like, what the hell else would you do? I don't even, it doesn't make sense. Not to say you don't have any other talents, but it's like,
I actually want to be also doula.
I could see it. That makes sense.
I actually
that makes.
But I love hair.
But no, but it's like, it's almost like one of those people. It's like, you can do this, and I'm like, I don't even know what else you would do if you weren't doing hair, like, because it doesn't make, because it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm like, what the hell else would you do? Like, it doesn't. What else would you do? Like, I don't get it.
Teenager, like, I was in
but then that's why when you like dual, I'm like, oh no, that's the only other thing that I could say makes sense,
at some point,
because that connects to you personally and spiritually.
Yes, but hair is
I'm like,
well, I'll never give it up.
And I'm looking at her like, but you know what? And not to say I know or don't know, but I know I have a couple of friends that they do hair or makeup, and they're just like over it. And it's not because they're not good at it, because I have a friend, she's amazing at it. She's just kind of like, it's not my passion. But I also know that people, from what I know, again, I was married to a barber for friggin' years, and he's amazing at it. But he loves it, regardless of whatever he's like, he loves his job, and he's great at it. And that's what I've learned. If you don't love it,
you can't do it.
You're not going to do it. You're not.
It'll show.
Yes.
It'll show.
And that's why I'm like, I know although y'all are different people, I'm like, that's one thing I could always admire. Like, you love what you do, and you're great at it. He was also great at what he does, and he loves it. And I'm just like, that's a beautiful thing. But it shows in your artwork and your creativity. So I remember when my hair chopped off, I wasn't loving it, and I first debuted it at the when I went to see Black Panther, because they showed all these women with like bald heads and they were fierce,
gorgeous.
And honestly, when
that cast was gorgeous.
Honest to God, I was trying to love it, right? I had like, let me put a little hard part in my hair, and I did, and my ex had did it at the time, and I'm like, I'm fierce, I'm dope, and that's when I was starting to kind of like figure myself out, right? And then after that, he would have his comments, but I'm just like, shit, like, if anybody else would be like, I want you to love it too, and I have side comments, I'm like, crap, I didn't love it. It came a time, a shift, some time passed, and I was growing it out. I was doing little things. For a couple of years, I was actually relaxing it and having it straight down, and you would do it from time to time. And I don't remember exactly what it was. It was after she burnt my hair off. But there was a time where I just was like, I did my other bestie, she's like, girl, platinum blonde. She was telling me you were telling me to cut it. Doesn't platinum blonde.
I love you, like.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I did it, and all of a sudden it clicked. Everything clicked at the right time. Yo, you know what I hate? We're recording, guys, on my computer right now, and it sucks because Anchor, I got something to say to y'all. Y'all only let us record for 30 minutes. So what we're just gonna have like a little break, and we're gonna come right back. I did one of those like thing. I be trying to edit like if I'm some like producer or something. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I just be really like, I think I'm one time on the episode with Bobby, I have this dope episode on psychedelics. Never did psychedelics. Y'all don't need me on psychedelics. I mixed up the order of like the video recordings, and nobody told me until Mike Bada, shout out to you. He was like, there was like one time I could like repeat it, and I'm like, did I not put it correctly? Shit. Oops. But it's one of the most listened to podcast episodes that I have. So shout out to Bobby, guys. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's pretty dope. Yeah, the shrooms that you're like, 2 shrooms with me. I'm like, shrooms.
Honestly, I've done shrooms.
I know, you told me.
And
you're like one of the only people I smoked weed with in my life. Just you.
I'm definitely a pothead.
Just you and my boss.
Yeah.
I don't smoke weed with nobody.
I have done shrooms in the past. It's how my depression actually.
Yeah, no, but that's what we spoke about. Yeah, y'all know. Let me tell y'all Davida's age. I don't even know what it is. It's weird. It's maybe because she's a creative with like not social media, but social media. She didn't even know she had a podcast app on her damn Apple phone.
No idea.
If y'all have if y'all have iPhones, the podcast app comes on there automatically. She's like, what did I download? I'm like, it's on your phone.
There are moments I want to take my phone and throw it in the Hudson.
But you know what? This is why we also got close. Because you're like, just be me. I'm like, okay, hold on. I'll get your health insurance, your car insurance, everything. I got you.
Because I don't have a computer. There's one TV in my apartment.
Yeah.
And how little is this bitch?
Yeah, it's really.
But and it's old as hell.
But it's cool. You're very gypsy-ish.
I am a little bit.
But you know what? My other bestie, she's like, you're right. She's like, you.
I love fashion though, but it's weird. Like I'm all forward when it comes down to hair and fashion, but then that's it.
Well, you lost a lot of weight too.
I have.
I never saw you wear pants until you lost weight.
I started in recent years, yeah.
You know what's the funny part? It's like, all my friends have had weight loss surgery. I'm the one to drop them off and pick them up. I'm like, y'all bitches.
You sure did.
All of my friends. I'm like, there's about 3 or 4 of my friends that I'm like, I can't. One of my homegirls, my first sleeve surgery, they had to call it Code Yellow because they was trying to get her vein, and it was not working, and I was looking, and I passed out.
You went down.
Girl, remember, I went down. She was like, you're so stupid. She started out.
I actually know where I have a really good vein.
Y'all,
look how blue this thing is.
Yeah, the nurses love it.
Look.
Y'all,
Yeah, I'm so white.
I couldn't. She was like,
I'm so see-through.
She's like, Steph. She's like, you're so stupid. How you passed out? How they got the nurses here for you? And I'm like, this is so stupid. Because I couldn't. I remember.
I would have died.
Yeah,
you know me. I would have.
And the thing is, she was cracking up, and it's crazy because I know, it's like you have all the surgery, you can't really laugh because it's abdomen. She's like stupid. I'm like, I'm sorry. What the fuck you passed out? Like, they were doing the needle thing. What the fuck you look? They had called yellow. I was like, oh my God. I'm so sorry. I'm such an attention whore by accident. It be by accident.
How after my surgery?
You came back in the car. Am I skinny now?
I did.
I was like, no, bitch, you're not.
I did. No, but I wake up and it's one of the girls that I went to high school with. Hold on. I haven't seen this girl in years. And she's doing like some ballerina twist around me. And she did this whole little thing.
What the hell did she get done? Surgery too?
No, she worked at the hospital. Stupid. And I was coming out of it. And I literally thought, I said, oh my God, I died. What is this girl doing here that I know personally from high school?
That's what happened
to a ballet dance.
You're like, is this heaven?
She's doing like a twist around me.
Is this heaven? No, bitch, this is hell. Because you're mean.
And I know, I was like, oh, fuck, I died.
No, you're like the meanest, nicest person.
I can be.
Yo, let me tell y'all about Davida's road rage. It's not serious.
No. I learned how not to have it in upstate.
Because it's so peace and zen.
You know what it is?
They don't drive. They ride horses.
No. I'm aware those farmers have guns. I'm not messing with them.
No. But you're the right color, Davida. You light skin.
No, it don't matter. Listen, as soon as I start talking, they know something's off.
Yo, that's how you know you're from Jersey City. When you light skin or you white and you start talking, they're like, where you from? It's reversed with me.
I have that Puerto Rican.
Nah, though.
That Puerto Rican.
It's reversed. Girl. It's reversed with me. My homegirl was like, she's like, Steph. I said, she goes, you're wearing your checkered fanny pack, my neon green hat, my neon green hat. Cool. It says it's different, Tommy. Shout out to Tommy. I'm gonna tell you that I'm shouting you out so you can tag me in the video. Tommy, I'll be my little tip. It's different. Had neon green hat. My mom jeans with the holes in it, with a crop top. We ain't talking about your boo right now. She has a boo. That's what. Listen, we're gonna talk to you about the single moms getting it. With my crop top, my mom jeans. First time I wore crop tops was in my 30s. You could, just because you're plus size, you could wear the crop top.
I'm a plus size.
Listen, I have stretch marks on my belly button, so everyone's like, "But wear no, girl. I'm skinny." No. Yes, tiger. I don't want to shoot tiger stripes. I wear high-waisted pants, and I'll be with so nobody knows I got them.
But Stephanie, your size nothing.
Yeah, but it don't matter. I still got stretch marks. And so, my girl's daughter looked at my belly button because my pants was sagging a little bit. She goes, "What is that black hole?" Oh my! You little bastard! It's because she was belly button level. And I'm like, so
kids are so
they're such assholes. Yo, I was like, did you got my belly button a black hole? Don't nobody be seeing that little girl. I'll beat you. And yeah, it was I wear high-waisted pants. But
I don't work on kids unless they belong to my clients.
They belong. Kids belong to people. Whose little shit is this?
Listen, I won't lie. Unless they are my clients' kids, because I know my clients are all cool. Like, I know my girls and guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that if they're cool, their kids are going to be cool.
I mean, listen.
I have those parents, I'm aware of it. But if you're coming from outside, you want me to do your kids' haircut, it's probably going to be a no.
Yeah.
And it's because I come home to kids every day.
Yeah, we don't even. I like people are like, you be such a good teacher. No, y'all kids is assholes, and I can't beat them.
Exactly.
But you see the way we are, so people. Are you sure you're from Jersey City? And I'm like, yeah, born and raised, honey, downtown Jersey City. They're like, yeah, sound like a transplant that moved here in 2006. And I'm like, what?
Not me.
The way you grew up, I'm like,
me.
oh, I'll be like, yeah, I grew up in downtown. And they're like, yeah, it makes sense.
I sound like the Hudson River.
She sounds like she swam in the Hudson River. No. But people don't know, like, downtown Jersey City was not cute. Like, they be like, Hoboken, no. Hoboken was the hood, y'all. And they used to go to downtown. That's why a lot of us are connected, I think, right? Downtown Jersey City, pre-2002? Around that time? Yeah, I think like 02.
I had a lot of friends in the Heights.
You know I went.
I love those
when I was a kid,
they were like my favorite little group.
My uncles were
a little band up there that we used to go hang out with.
They think they're so hard, and I'm laughing like, because it's weird, right? Like growing up in Jersey City, I only, and I think it happens. So I don't know if it's inner city kids or like urban kids. It's like we only know almost like the only 4 blocks around us.
Yeah,
but not me because I wasn't allowed outside.
I wasn't allowed outside.
I wasn't allowed. So I'm like, I just know outside my window, y'all. That's it. And from my school window.
I was on the 5th floor.
The 5th floor, bro, man. So like, so I'd be like, I'm like, okay, this is cool until like, My uncles were like all on the streets. My uncles was just, I don't even know how they're like. They're part of my family. They are. And my uncles be like, but who was messing with you? They don't play with my niece. I know people ain't got nothing to lose. I'm like, don't they? We're good here. Good.
You're like me. You're very close to our uncles.
Yeah, my uncle, my other uncle, he moved to Florida. They let him have
We're like tomboys.
They let my
We're like the original tomboys.
They moved to Florida. They let my uncle have a gun. I did video games and played and watched wrestling.
Me too.
I know this. We know this.
Shit,
no, I was a macho man girl.
I'm a slight bit older.
But my uncles are around your age.
Yeah.
Ultimate warrior.
Yeah.
Freaking macho man. Oh, yeah.
How the hell Andre the Giant?
Andre the Giant.
Yeah. Yo, I used to try to do all the moves. I would make going crazy.
You know what I appreciated? Like, so let me tell you, I can't wait till I'm in my 40s. It's not too far down the line, right? All my friends seem to be like in their 40s. Like, I'm celebrating 40th birthdays all like just recently.
Yeah.
I'm the baby always.
I fell down the stairs.
I'm an old soul. I'm an old soul. We ain't gonna talk about she fell down the goddamn steps.
It was the first time I wore fucking heels.
She wore heels and she thinks she can drink like she was when she was a big girl, but she can't.
And I cannot.
She can't. She be thinking because Davida used to drink.
Well, I hadn't gone out in 2 years.
And she also didn't do the but she was looking fat.
I hadn't drank. I literally only had. Everyone was like, "How many drinks did you have?" Like 2.
I'm like,
how many fingers do you have up? I'm like, I don't know.
I'm like, there wasn't 2. It was half of 1.
I hadn't even. She's
like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I come back. I fell down the stairs.
It was crazy.
And
I
you're like,
realize how long it had been since I drank.
I'm like 108 pounds. I think everybody's like double my size.
I to hold up to you.
I'm like calling your cousin help.
I think I was trying to hold on to you.
And I'm like, how did you twist your ankle going down 1 step? 1 step.
Both my ankles.
And then the worst part of that, I was so mad because it's like this guy who like knowing your family and they have the worst fucking service.
No, you know what it is?
I was mad.
This is true.
There's no excuse.
In the restaurant industry, they've taken a horrible hit. They really don't have
any
workers.
But guess what? Y'all ain't fucking up hair. Y'all still doing hair well.
Yeah, but not the restaurant industry. They're having a lot of problems having people wanting to work in them.
No, the owner himself was shit. So I'm just saying, I'm not gonna say it. I ain't gonna say the name because I ain't trying to shout them out. I just hope that y'all could be nicer next time if there is a next time. Anyway, going back. So originally, right, when we did this podcast, I'm like, we're talking about women that are like, topics. It's like beauty. I'm like, oh shit, beauty, yeah.
We're happy about it.
And then she's like, oh my god, do I sound stupid? And I'm like, no, don't sound stupid. Really? Right? So then, yeah, I'm like, Davida's like the master stylist. You burnt my hand one time, but it was fine. And then it was funny because Davida's that friend. Like, I'll be mad busy at work, and she knows that, and she'll like hit me up.
And sorry to your boss.
Not even like I still
need her.
But then my dumbass, I still pick up. Like if I don't have 1,000 things
you're
to
like,
do.
I'm fucking working.
I'm like, what happened?
Then I chuckle
and you're like, hey, I just gotta tell you something, right? So and I'm like, oh, can I call you at like 5?
Sure.
And I'm like, okay.
Right.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. And I pick up, like, we don't understand. So anyway, so we're like, she's like, I'm like, oh, beauty, yeah, that's what's up, because it's a topic, right? And I'm just like, yo,
y'all. The trends have changed significantly.
Yeah, that's what she was all like, yeah, let me just tell you all these things. And I'm like, wait, I'm driving, I don't have my notebook. After she threatened the mother who said she didn't love her child because, like, you don't love your dog or, like, something.
It was a dog.
She was like, you don't love your dog, lady.
Wait, hold on.
So I'm driving, and she's giving me all these ideas, and I'm like, I have an idea, and I can't write it down because I'm trying to drive.
Somewhere, and some mother, and listen, I'm one of those mothers with the baby carriage.
But
I stop and look.
Like, how do you have road rage? You're the passenger.
This wasn't even a mom. This was a dog owner, and she had her dog. It was on a leash, but she wasn't holding.
How
the
are
leash.
You the passenger with road rage?
Hold on, it was like a puppy, and she wasn't holding the leash, and the puppy was like in the middle of the street, and she was on her phone looking completely away.
At 9 o'clock in the morning.
At 9 in the morning, at like 8:30ish, when there's a little bit of traffic. So of course, my ass, because I've had a dog.
She's not even driving. I'm driving. I'm like, take it easy.
Right? Like, you should love your dog a little more than that. He's a puppy.
You don't love your dog.
You don't love your dog, lady.
And I'm there like, okay. And Davida's like, yeah, so till this episode. And I'm there like, oh my
Well,
God.
I was worried for the dog's life. It was a little puppy.
And then she was all excited for my
She
gift.
got her little puppy though. She ran.
She did. She was like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm sorry for my friend. She's so mean. And then she's like, oh yeah, so this idea for your podcast.
I sure did, about hair and how it's
And I was like, yo, that's freaking brilliant. That's freaking brilliant. And I'm like, but I don't have any hair. So like the way it works, right? So then today is, what's the actual date? So we're actually recording this on March 28th. And
1 minute before March 29th.
Oh my God. March 28th. And Davida calls me. I'm driving, doing some pickups for people's children, doing transporting at 8:15 in the morning, and I hear, and I'm posting my Will Smith stuff early, like from before, because I was outside, and then
oh my God, the minute I woke up and saw it,
and as soon as she sees it, she's like, call me. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm driving, you're gonna make me miss my turn.
Because you're Jada.
Everybody calls me
like,
Jada.
Oh my God.
She's like, did you? I'm like, yes, I know. I'm married to Will Smith. Hey, Will Smith. Hey, honey. Everybody knows I love him. So the messages that were coming into my like DMs and text messages was ridiculous, because everybody knows I've been rocking with Will Smith since I was a child.
You know they both apologize.
I know. So yeah, as we're doing
Chris
laundry,
and Will have both apologized.
So in upcoming events, since we're still on the podcast, in the last few hours, they have apologized, but that's not the point. Point was, everybody's like blowing up my phone, and I'm like, I'm not gonna address this because it was a lot, right? And so we're gonna hashtag current events because this is gonna trend me, right? It was interesting because I think at the nighttime when it happened, I was outside. I don't watch Oscars. I don't watch award shows. I don't really give a fuck about them. I really don't.
I like the fact I have to catch on with fashion in the hair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. I'll find out.
I watch like the next morning. First thing I look at like early.
Yeah, it worked. Okay, what happened, right? So I'm like, okay, I was outside. I was out supporting Ariel. Happy birthday, Ariel. Outside of Brooklyn, and I'm like, okay, and I go home and I'm trying to sleep, and I'm like, what the hell? What? I was like so confused. I had a conversation with Kira. Hey, Kira. I'm that person. Hey, y'all. Shout out. Can't have me. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. Like, we can't wait to see what happens in the morning. And I was still digesting because, again, I didn't watch it. Yeah. But it's a lot to take in, right? So I'm like, all right, next morning comes and everything's popping. And I'm like, okay, this really happened in real life. So then Davida calls me, and I'm like,
I was like, yo.
Yeah, and so every literally people were just like, you're the first person I thought of because I know you love this.
First thing in the morning, like, I need to.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to talk. There, I had all the entanglement jokes in my DMs. I'm like, yo, whatever. Like, that's their relationship. Mind your business. Whatever. Y'all in entanglements too. Y'all just don't know it, right? That was me, but that's whatever. Now this was a little different, right? Because I not only say I tread lightly on controversial topics, but I am very mindful to try to see both sides. I'm very diplomatic in that sense. I'm like, okay, what happened here? What happened here? Let's try to get a conclusion. So I think in this sense, I'm like, all right, Will, I love you. You my boo. Everybody knows I'm your biggest fan. When Will Smith came onto Instagram, I swear I was his first follower. I wasn't, but I tried to be. I'm like, yo, y'all like Will Smith now. I've been on Will Smith since Fresh Prince, since Wild Wild West, since Miami, since all the albums. Y'all thought he was corny. But I love his humor. I love funny men. I love them. And Jada, I'm like, yo, she dope. I get it, big bad bitches, and she don't care, whatever. And their children are such individuals. Like I really stand.
I really like them.
I love the Smith family, and they're very unconventional. Just because everybody doesn't understand it, it's fine. At the end of the day, they make money, and they really don't care, right? Whatever. But then this one was interesting with the Oscars.
It just stinks that they're getting this much
I mean, it's a lot of public. They're not attention whores. I mean, at the end of the day, all the celebrities are attention whores.
Like the Wilson family though, like everyone.
Will Smith don't even cuss. Yo, Will Smith don't even cuss in his songs.
People up now.
Will,
that guy that tried to kiss him? Yeah. And he like smacked that guy.
Yo, Will Smith, Eminem.
Like, I would have punched him though.
Yo, Eminem was like made his song. Remember back in like the early 2000s, he made a joke like, yeah, well, Will Smith doesn't even curse in his songs. No, he don't
have to curse.
Yo, Will Smith ain't Will Smith, and he ain't Fresh Prince, and they gonna send him back to Bel Air for acting like Mike Lowry. He came in here like he was Bad Boys for Life. But you know, it really made me think. I was having a conversation with my girl Shakira, and I'm like, hold on, it's late. I'm tired. I can't even think. But
me too. I felt the same way.
It was over.
I went to bed feeling one way, and I woke up, and then I had to reevaluate.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, I really
to be evaluated a little bit.
I mean, celebrities don't really care what you think about them, but we're the people who get them their celebrity status, right? So I was like, okay.
I don't think the joke was that bad, but I think what she's going through,
right? So it makes
him that he didn't write that joke.
But I found so I'm like over here like, what will really happen? Because as time passes on, you're like, wait, I had questions like, okay. Did Will Smith really smack this guy? I'm like, okay, was this fake?
He smacked him.
Then it was actually real. And then I'm like, then I'm like, okay, Chris Rock, he's not my favorite comedian. He's funny.
He's funny though.
He's funny.
I like Chris.
Yeah,
I like them both.
Yeah, no, I don't think he's bad.
I think they're both likable. So the
right,
fact that this happened, it's like, oh my God, which way do I go?
Right, I'm like,
because I like both.
I don't dislike Chris Rock.
I mean,
he's not like my favorite. He's not my favorite comedian.
Will.
Listen, y'all know I love me so Will Smith. He can't do no wrong. However.
No, I mean, Thea is better.
However, I'm like, bro, on the night that you win your first Oscar, which is not even for anything like perverted or like a bad like character, because you know what they say, Denzel won his first Oscar when he played a bad guy, and what the hell was that movie? I don't remember. I'm not good with the actors, but when he got his first Oscar, he wasn't even a good guy. He was like the bad guy of the movie. Halle Berry, when she won her first Oscar, it was Monsters Ball. She like,
oh shit.
Yeah, it was these things that these people have all these long careers. Yeah, fine. Black don't crack. But it's to say like it was a stride at the Oscars. Again, #Oscars so white. But I also don't follow. I don't watch the awards. But just, I follow the next day. I want to find out what happened. I'm like, okay, this isn't a show, a platform that is predominantly dominated by white folks, right? Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, at the end of the day, it is. And I'm not the one to be like, I'm going to make it about race and color. But at the end of the day, yes, it was. Very much so. So then to have somebody like Denzel Washington, who his Oscar was, again, the Oscar's the Oscar, but the characters that they portray, and to find like Will Smith is, regardless of what's happened with his family, regardless of the media attention, like he's always had it classy.
He's always kept it classy.
Always kept it classy. He's been memed out. He's been entanglement.
In recent years with the entanglement.
Yeah, entanglement. Oh, Jada's embarrassing. And they've always.
So here's my situation though. Here's what I think. I understand this, and
right.
I've had to shave their heads because they've been going through.
Yo, there's a kid. That's how we know we're moms. There's a kid, but we're not gonna pay attention. We're gonna whisper.
We're trying to wean them off.
Yes.
So this is on purpose, guys. As I was saying,
cutting hair.
He went through a lot, right? In like the last
couple years,
right? And didn't they say that he had I don't know, but.
I read his whole book. Ask me any question.
He had to go to like, he was inpatient for a little bit there.
I know he went to like spiritual retreats and stuff like that. Because they did have their, regardless of people, the open relationship, whatever.
But he was like really sad.
He was, yeah. I mean, the whole thing with his wife, and it's a lot. I couldn't imagine. They've been through a lot, and I think even now it's like, out of all the things, right? And this is again, I told a friend of mine, shout out to Dracade. I told a friend of mine, and I appreciate the people in my life, because it's like, even if we have different opinions, like, it's conversations.
Yeah.
It's not, you're right, I can't believe it's not offense. It's like,
I feel like I could see both points.
Yeah, and that's what it was. I was like, let's have a conversation. Like,
because I know that you're very much seeing it.
I love the Smiths, but if something's wrong, it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's wrong, it's wrong.
Them. But I see where they messed up, but I see why they were passionate about it.
Like, bro, I get it. I'd probably want to smack them too. However,
but I would have done backstage.
Like, well, bro, we really at like
this would have been.
We're really at the White People Awards, and you really just you're about to get your first Oscar, and this is really national television. They ain't gonna invite black folk nowhere no more. You just might do on that. I'm like, oh my God. Again, do we understand the emotion? And this is, look, I'm an impulsive person. I've been in trouble for like really assaulting somebody in real life, or talking about my kid's hair, like dead ass. Yeah. Do I regret it? Yes, I shouldn't have done that. I get it, but then it's like that's where my mom, right? But then it's like, but it's Will Smith. The mama bear comes out, but why don't we?
Different to me.
Why don't we give the same grace unto somebody like Will Smith? Yes, he's a celebrity, but we fall short. We do. You know what I mean? And again, that's not to say we all fall short. He was reactive.
And he's, you know what I love about him? What I love about both of them.
Yeah, Chris Rock handled that real classy.
I don't remember the last time I saw two celebrities fight it out and just say sorry.
That
was the last time they saw both of them.
That and also
they both apologized. They both saw, because I kept saying to everyone, like,
and he didn't sue.
Hold on, and no, he didn't press charges.
Why? Because he must have been like, y'all fucked up.
Too. I love that, because I kept saying, like, I was like, I love them both, but I see where they were both right and I see where they were both wrong.
And that brings me back to us. It's almost like we was a certain, it's like, oh, I get it, and we just made up. But you know what? A lot of the celebrities, even Diddy, I'll be feeling way about Diddy because he got my birthday, but he be funny. He made a little video. I feel for, but he made a little video and he was just like, I can't believe Chris Rock. He got rocked type of thing, and because the people don't expect that from Will Smith because of the type of person he is. But then he's like, he goes, it's all love. We're family. And I think most importantly, what happened was it's like they spoke about it, they talked about it. He had Denzel on one side, the other one was, and they're talking. They're like, bro, because he got emotional.
I love how people step up. They should have.
Yeah, but you know what? That says.
Look how the older men like stood up.
Like I get it, but no, that's not how you carry yourself.
Remember, like think of God. Like Denzel, man. Like Denzel.
He's so classy.
He's so freaking classy. Like who doesn't love Denzel?
He's such a brilliant man. But even to say that, and just to wrap it up, I got about 6 minutes recording time left. I think what happened, and this is where we're like, we gotta do this today. When I told Davida, when she was like pissed off, and I'm like, you know what? As a Black woman, and as a person who's, just segueing, bringing it back to the original conversation, when I didn't have alopecia, I could certainly grow my hair out if I want to. This is the way I choose to embrace it. But being criticized by somebody so close to me about my hair, being raised in a culture where hair is everything, being raised in the church where hair is your crown, and me struggling with my own self when my hair got burnt off and trying to figure out, oh my gosh, it's like, it reminds me of that whole NDRE, I am not my hair, that whole video. Yeah, I know you in her, but it's like, it's like all these things, and it's like, and then it brings you back, and it's not to make it about race, but it's like, Chris Rock, you're a Black man. You are not criticizing a Black woman about her hair. Out of all things, we're always criticized about our hair. Always.
If you think of the movie that he's talking about.
But then it's like, you made the movie. You should know better. But then also on the other side, again, conversations.
Demi Moore's gorgeous. Like, it wasn't like they weren't attacking her with anyone.
Yeah, but I think, again, that also raises the point of, not to say it wasn't sensitive, but it's like, who approved this and who didn't do some background research?
Exactly.
Because again, Chris Rock made a joke about Jada back in 2016.
Did you see that?
And of course I saw it, because I was like, I know what you're talking about, Moji. And was it corny or not? That's whatever. But it wasn't. You have to laugh. You can't be mad about it, because everybody can get the sauce in comedy. Yeah. You couldn't even be mad about it. Okay, Jada.
It wasn't an actual attack about her.
It was it was like, Jada, you're gonna have to take that one, sis, because you really wasn't invited. Like it wasn't. So it's like we could laugh at that.
Exactly.
But this one,
I love that he caught it though. I love that he caught it and then he apologized for it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I could see where they were both wrong.
Yeah,
but I could see where they both were. It was an innocent mistake.
Right. And at the end of the day, I think, aside from him being criticized, people calling me, you're a pussy. Yes, he very much was impulsive, but it's like, out of everything, you talked about her hair, which is something, and people were like, how were people supposed to know that she was insecure about her? I'm like, that is all she talks about it. Like, this is, sir, you are in Hollywood. This is what's going on in Hollywood. Jada is she's had episodes. Her daughter cut her hair off before her. She talks about this often, about the alopecia and all this stuff. And I'm like, what? So people are like, oh, so all of a sudden things are off limits. I'm like, so if Jada had cancer, is this still fun? You know what I mean? So it's like, and this is women like us, where we're really not sensitive at all. I love Dave Chappelle. I love him, and I'll be like, yo, Dave Chappelle, get it, because he's hilarious, and that's to show how not sensitive we are.
I think it's our age group.
Yeah,
right?
but we're not. But it's like, that's why when I'm like, nah, we couldn't talk, because you could even see her face, and I'm like, out of all the things, hair especially, I'm like, Black women with our hair, we're so criticized about that all the time. But and again, Chris Rock may have felt, because he is Black, he had the I could talk about it.
I think it was innocent.
Yeah,
I feel like this was just super innocent.
It was just very not well thought out.
It wasn't well thought out, and he got in the crossfire because he's the one that has the.
But he handled it with class. He was like, I just got this.
He was kind of funny while I was going through it. That was crazy.
Yeah, he handled that very well. Regardless if
I'm happy they both said they were sorry, and then tomorrow they should just be like,
yeah, no, I'm gonna give him to the end of the week. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, and
I love that they both.
Yeah, at the end of the day of it all, I do that. And if you go back to my last episode, no, I do not condone violence. I don't condone violence. But how many times?
Unless you believe you deserve it.
Look, I'm the person who really beat the shit out of somebody for talking bad about my kid. Like, my little self, I really did. Like, guess what though? They ain't never gonna talk shit about my kids' hair ever again. Right. And guess what? Chris Rock ain't never gonna. You think they will never do? There will be no hair jokes on Jada ever again.
Ever.
But at the end of the day, the ends don't justify the means. They really, really don't. Nobody
won there.
Yeah, nobody won. If anything, we really have to now work. We've already have to work 40 times harder to do anything. Now it's like even then some. I'm like, they ain't matter no black folk to no award shows no more. They gonna keep us with the goddamn BET Awards. But it wouldn't have been okay in any circumstance. You know what I mean? But again, it teaches us a lot about. And like I said, and I've told my friends, I'm like, yes, I will say this, but it doesn't mean that I condoning it. But it does mean this. It means it opens up the room for more conversation of masculinity, how we view men. We've been saying, Will Smith is manly. You're not defending yourself. You don't love your woman. But I'm like, now there's women like, well, if you ain't smacking people like Will Smith and you won't love me, So it really is a double-edged sword, So it's really interesting that I'm like, you've been the one who cut women's hair for, balding. And it's like,
cut women that are going to chemo.
Yeah, so it's almost like he could say it's a GI.
I shaved my own head.
You did in honor of it, So it's like we can say the GI Jane joke, and it was like he kind of made it like, "Cause GI Jane, it's not that," and it's like, "Yo, Jada, you look bad as hell with the haircut anyway." But it's like it's one of those things like when you're struggling with it, it's sensitive.
Subject,
yeah, right.
I've seen it, and I've seen the women that you just wouldn't think they fall apart, and it's hard.
Right. So, I say that and I tell people, I'm like, I have my hair short, but I can grow my hair.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like,
what a blessing that you get to choose,
Right. Yeah. But I'm
taking that reminder.
But then I understand, and I go back to the fact of I know of people who have alopecia, and it was very triggering to them because those are things that happen all the time. Right. And then again, when I say it opens up the conversation for other conversations.
Yeah. Are
there things in comedy that you, whatever it may be, are there things that you don't talk about? I'm like, listen, first of all, illnesses are that's not the topic of discussion. I mean, unless you got the A-OK, right? Like, hey, it is what it is. Unless that's something that was approved. But then it's like, that's kind of tasteless, especially knowing somebody as fierce as Jada. You would think she got her life all together, but that's something that she struggles with, but she makes it known.
Yeah.
So it's like, yo, you could see her face.
Every right to
she was not laughing. Every but Will Smith was laughing. I'm like, I think that was a nervous laugh, like, ha, But then at the same time, it's like,
I think that was the laughing until you turned and saw her face.
Yeah, it's almost like when it's almost like when you cry when you're angry.
Like, if she has to choose who to be angry with, it is you, sir. I'm smacking you.
Right. And again, people are like, yo, Will Smith he's real for that. And it's like, but is he? But then it's again, sir, read the room. This is not the time nor the place to be smacking people. It wasn't, So then, and it all
was backstage when nobody could see.
They're backstage. I'm gonna catch you. But it's a different conversation, And then and again, they were talking about like, oh, they're gonna strip him of his Oscar and all this stuff.
They both apologize.
But at the end of the day, I'm like, it really sucks when one incident, and it doesn't matter what color you are, it'll really just knock off all your accolades.
Yeah.
And it really
sucks, man, because Will Smith, what an actor.
Oh my God.
What an amazing, amazing actor. And now he's gonna be viewed so different.
But then at
the same time, he just apologized. And if you when you get a chance to read his apology, it was actually seems very sincere.
Yeah, no, and the fact that I think also the fact, and again reading into it, and I'm like, at the end of the day, they don't really care what we think because they still Will Smith got the money, he got bail money. But the fact that like somebody like Chris Rock, he didn't press charges or anything, like it's like, you know what, they must have had a real good, had a real conversation. You know what I mean?
So. I hope.
Yeah, and at the end of it, it brings back to like, I'm like, I was talking with my girl Shakira, and she's like, showed me her friend who struggles with alopecia, and there was a 12-year-old girl who actually committed suicide because of how much they made fun of her because of they were snatching her wig and stuff. And I'm like, and anything that we say, because I know me, right? If I was that, I've said some things, maybe not thinking or it's gonna offend anybody, and even if I had the right intention, even if I thought it was whatever it may be, if I offend somebody, and I see, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry because it made you feel that way. It wasn't my intention, but that's what it is, right? Because that's how we learn about people when we have conversations. We can't just cancel people. We can't just be like, whatever. It's almost like, where did this come from?
We hurt ourselves too with that prideful, that egotistical prideful shit. We hurt ourselves too because the time that I didn't speak to you, that was hurtful for me,
Because you'd be like, I want to tell somebody something. I can't tell you, stupid.
I can't call her. And that's dumb. Just talk it out.
Yeah, but you know what?
Fix it. Say you're sorry. Sorry is okay.
But you know what? At the same time,
I think sometimes saying sorry is I love you.
Sometimes also with growth, with age, with maturity, with experiencing things, it's like, yes, sorry is okay. But also seeing the other side of things. Like people always like, Steph, we love you. But I'm like, I grew up just a certain way of thinking, and I'm like, after evolving and just learning about myself, I'm like, you don't have to be diplomatic, whatever. I'm like, listen, I don't have to agree with shit anybody says.
Nope.
I don't even have to understand it. Do I have to respect it? Absolutely not. Does it pertain to me? Absolutely not. So my life is gonna go on the same way, and it doesn't affect me in any way. You know what I mean? And I'm like, I think when we do things with love, out of love, say things, like even when we spoke, I'm like, it wasn't even out of malicia, out of malice. It was even like, we tell our daughters, if you're upset, it's okay to be upset.
Yep.
You can be mad. If somebody hurts you, tell them. Yeah. Because now, almost turning 30,
delivery means everything.
Delivery is important. That's why I'm like, people are like, hey, Will Smith could have said whatever he wanted to say backstage, and I'm like, but what if you understood it? Maybe Chris Rock needed to get smacked for him to understand. And I'm not condoning violence. But it's almost like when you tell a kid, don't touch the stove. Don't touch the stove. They touch the stove, and it's like, well, maybe you needed to burn yourself so you understood. Not that we need to be handing out ass whoopings, because we really shouldn't. But because violence is not okay. You don't smack people, not on national television, all that whole disclaimer. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a learning lesson to everybody. You don't talk about white people stage with black folk. We need to have each other's back. Talk about somebody else, not us. 2, hair, women's hair, black women's hair. You don't talk about that. If you did it, if you don't know, now you know. Yeah, that whole thing, like,
in general, man.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm like, bro, it was Black History Month, and then it was Women's History Month. We can't be doing this, man. And then at the end of the day, it's like,
women's hair thinning, and women in their hair is a very sensitive subject.
Yeah, man.
If someone has cancer or thyroid issue and their hair is thinning, and you just don't know. So you just don't talk about, like, listen, it's one thing I don't do when I'm out and about. I'm never the hairdresser will go up to someone like, here, you need me, here's my card.
Yeah, I mean, but
I am not her.
But you know what? That also says something about like the media, let's say, right? Because it's almost like, I was like, wait, he was allowed to say that? Could he say that? Did someone have to approve this? Like, it just had questions raised, right? Because also, I know there's what's his name? Gervais, the guy, is a Tony or something. Yeah, he just makes fun of everybody, right? But at the same time, y'all already know if he's hosting and you were there, you could. It's free. It's a free zone, right? So, but with this, I'm like, this is a different award show. Somebody wrote this, right? Let's say some things have to almost like be approved, right? To be like, okay, we're gonna talk about Jada hair. Does she know we're gonna talk? All right, let's just make sure everybody's, because I think let's say, this is recorded. This isn't freaking like You know, like things, there's a script. Things have to.
People first saw this stage.
It did seem like it, but it's like, okay, you know, you're gonna say this joke. You're not. Homegirl, you okay with it? Because you kind of know it's coming to you. Because it's the type of award ceremony it is. Something like the Richard Gervais. I'm like, hey, yo, everybody could get it. Everybody could get it. You can't even get mad. Like, I think if he would have done it, would have been a different type of.
Was different kind of humor. It's exactly
right. But then it's like, Chris, really? We already know y'all write this shit. Who said it? Who let this pass? Who approved it? Yeah. So again, I think it just says, it goes into saying like, we just need to be more mindful. Yeah. You know, we need to be more mindful. Jokes are jokes. I like to laugh. I like to crack on everybody. Mm-hmm. And I know, like I said, if I
learn what subjects are no.
Yeah, and no, yeah, everybody could get. I'm like, yo, there's people that are gay that laugh at the gay jokes. There's people that are black, we laugh at the black jokes because they're hilarious, you know? So it's not to say things are off limits, but, you know, there's
certain... how you go about it.
Yeah, there's like almost like a checks and balances, especially with something as classy as the, you know, the Oscars. And, you know, this is a long podcast. No, it's not that long. But, yeah, that's the last subject we're going to talk about because... Yes, hair. Yeah. Yes, beauty. You know, Jada Pinkett is one of the baddest baldies I ever seen. She's
gorgeous. She's like you.
You know that
jawline.
She's fierce, and
she doesn't need, like, yes, hair is whatever, but like she's gorgeous.
Regardless if she has the hair or not, regardless how gorgeous she is, it's like.
Dress.
Oh my god, I'm gonna buy it, Jada. Can you auction it to me? She was fabulous, and it's like and it tells you a lot about people, you know. And just closing with this, women, we can look as bold, beautiful, and bad. We could be strong. We can have all this personality, gusto, and confidence, but we really never know what we're struggling with, you know. And that's why I say we all, yes, men need to support us, right? Yeah, y'all about all this stuff, but us women as women. And even us, like we said, I was like, Davida don't play that shit, right? You know she don't play that, but you went through your own struggles that nobody would ever know. People see me, oh, you're so strong, you're so this. I'm like, but at the end of the day, we have an understanding, and no matter how strong we're going to have a struggle, and we can't move forward or become better for ourselves, for each other, for our daughters, for the girls behind us if we don't talk about it.
Exactly.
Because that's the pride, because I was like, now I know how to say, hey, this bothers me.
Yep.
Now I can say, hey, I fucked up. I know how to say, hey, I'm sorry if it made you feel that way. Oh, I could be like, well, you messed up. You know, like it helps us be able to have a better voice, because it's like, if we're not supporting each other, who will?
We're family. In my book, we're family.
The bald-headed girls, the big girls, the skinny girls, like who's really going to defend us if we're not defending ourselves? Because it's so much to be like...
My friends are my family.
Yeah, to say, you know, to feel like when you're going through things like domestic violence, depression, anxiety,
all of it,
and then to feel like you're by yourself, like nobody's going to understand, because everybody's like, oh, you're so strong, you're not going to understand. Then you're like, actually,
I know what it is.
Yeah, and that's why I say, from the things like this whole Oscar stance, like we're not going to really know where people stand unless we have these conversations. Mm-hmm. It's why I have the podcast, to have conversations. I'm never the one to be like, this is right, this is wrong, this is okay, this is not. At the end of the day,
there could be a gray.
There's a whole lot of gray.
There's a lot of gray.
It's a lot of gray in the middle, and that is why I have different people with different.
You have to be more open-minded.
Yeah. And it's again, open-minded doesn't mean you agree with everything.
Exactly.
And
you see different perspectives.
It's different.
Have your own.
Exactly. It's okay to see. It's okay to hear different perspectives.
Mm-hmm. Respect them, but have your own perspective.
And that's okay. It's like saying, I don't agree with the gays. First of all, there's nothing to agree or disagree with. Mm-hmm. Are they being gay with you? Does it pertain to you? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you see it's different. Keep it moving. If you don't like it, don't look, or whatever. Yeah. If you don't like my bald head, guess what? Don't look at it.
Don't look at it.
If you don't like my bald head, guess what? Don't be bald. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? But that, again, the reason why I do this podcast, reason why I've celebrated Women's History Month is to have these conversations, because it brings us closer together. It has a better understanding, because at the end of the day, yes, I'm a skeptic, and yes, do I think that humans are going to be we're going to be the end of our own freaking species? Yes. But at the end of the day, like, I function in love all day, every day. I love my friends. I love the people, my support system. I love the people that don't like me. Period. I love the people that don't like me, and that's okay. And if y'all ain't like Women's History Month, Black History Month, whatever, I really could just, it really don't affect me, not in 1 ounce. I'm gonna sleep just fine. But at the end of the day, I just want to say, we got a loud baby because we mamas. Shout out to the mamas. And I want to say thank you to Davida so much for doing this podcast. Happy Women's History Month to all my strong ass ladies, bad beauties, bald ladies, women with hair, white, black, Asian, all of that. I appreciate you all. Happy Women's History Month. Listen to the other podcasts for the month and keep living your life and love. Take care. See you on the next episode.